I'm recording a lesson 2. This is with SketchUp 2020. Again, to illustrate that SketchUp no longer uses layers, but instead has replaced them with what's called tags. You'd be hard-pressed to understand why tags would be different. I'm going to start a new project. I'm going to use the same two-story building. This time I'm going to begin drawing from scratch, but this time, instead of using an image underlay, use an autoCAD underlay as the basis for my model. So I'm going to go to a top view, and whenever you're doing things like this, you should work with the camera set to parallel so you don't introduce a perspective distortion, because you're trying to measure things. And you want to give axes equal weight. Not so drastic when you're in plan mode, but when you're doing any kind of projection, it becomes important. I'm going to import the floor plan for the ground floor. And I'm finding it, I've already been to this directory. So there's the plan for level 1. I'm going to accept the default value, so it places it somewhere near this citizen, whom we don't need right now. Let's go to top view, and I'm just going to take that drawing and move it. So that the corner is coincident with an origin, right? Very simple. So what happened to layers in SketchUp 2020? Layers become tags. Tags are what were AutoCAD layers imported into this model here. The first thing you do when you import a CAD drawing, if we were using anything other than SketchUp 2020, we'd collapse remove all these layers because we don't have any use for them. And so I'm selecting all the layers that were created as a result of importing this drawing and click on delete. Tags to be deleted or layers to be deleted are not empty. What to do with the contents? They're going to move it to the default untagged tag, if you will. Right? So I'm going to go out on a limb and say, similar to SketchUp, other versions of SketchUp, you should always model on an untagged tag and only change the tagged layers, which none of which we have right now, but we're going to develop, when you need to control visibility settings for elements that you model. Let's start with the floor slab. Floor slab is simply going to, oh, and by the way, this imported a component which is untagged. I'm inclined to rename. Can I rename that? No, I can't. We can't name untagged. So layer 0 untagged, whatever. Comes in as a group. So now that I want to model a floor slab, we're going to model a floor slab. Remember, we decided length and the width, 26.4 by 34. And we extruded downwards 16 inches. Let's go to an isometric view, push-pull, down, 16, see the control box, enter, triple click, make that a group, and create a tag for it, floor 1. And let's move that group to that tag. So now through these tags we can control visibility of the elements that we're modeling. Right? Let's decide on a strategy for the exterior walls. Let us measure the thickness at any point. So we have 8 inches allocated for the exterior wall. The easiest way to do this, for clarity's sake, I'm going to hide the floor 1 underlay. The easiest way to do this is to draw an outline of the entire perimeter and then offset that by 8 inches. Oops, wrong tool. Type 8 to the control box, enter. You don't need that face in the center. And what's the height we're going to extrude? Well, let's build this level by level. So I'm going to say we're going to build it up to level to a height of the second floor. And remember when we looked at the section drawings, I may still have them open here. In another model, I did save a scene, floor plan 1 with underlays. The view of the underlays is occluded by this system right now, so I'm going to hide that. Okay, so let's talk about building from level to level. We model the slab, which needs to be raised 4 inches from grade, and then we'll model a flat grade. So the walls extend from the slab to the top of level 2. Because level 1 is at 4 inches, level 1 to level 2 floor to floor height is 9 feet 4 inches, which is a perfect multiple of 7. So I'm going to model the wall heights to 9.4. And then when I model level 2 to the roof, I'm going to do whatever that distance is. 9.8 to the underside of the roof, which would be 19 feet. So I need 9. I'm using 9 for the height of my exterior walls. Select the face that I created that results here from having offset 8 inches. Whoops. 9 feet 4 inches. Triple click, 1, 2, 3, make it a group, edit, make group. Create a tag, walls. Well, it's good if your fingers are on the right keys. Walls, exterior, level 1. So these need to come up 4 inches, right? Because the floor currently sits on grade, but everything needs to come up 4 inches. So we can do that fairly easily with what's called component attributes. We can assign, that's drawn on a different part of the screen, so I got to bring it back. We can assign a z coordinate for that. It's now 0. We're going to make that 4. All right. So that set of exterior walls, there's a 4-inch gap between the floor there, but I'm going to do the same for the group that I've called floor 1, that I've placed on the floor 1 tag. Set a z coordinate for it. Okay, minus 16. It's measuring from the bottom, so I want this to be minus 12. So that when I look at a front view, that slab is 4 inches above what is grade, even though I have nothing modeled at grade yet. Let's just, for argument's sake, model some site topography. That's easy. Go to a top view. Let's just draw a giant rectangle around the scheme of things. Double click, make it a group. Create a tag for, call it topographic surface. And I'm taking that group and placing it on that layer. So what is all that? If I cut a section through this, section plane, I don't need to see this dialog. And I move that section plane somewhere inside my model. So you see what I've done here? I have site topography is at elevation 0. The floor extends 4 inches above elevation 0 and 12 inches below it, and my exterior walls start at an elevation of 4 inches. This is light wood construction, what's called platform framing, a term that you ought to be familiar with. I mean, I'm putting this together for students of advanced, these are advanced IDC subjects, so some assumption there's an assumption on my part of knowledge of construction methods and techniques. Mild understanding thereof, but a good understanding nevertheless. It's important. So if I take a tape measure to the wall-to-wall 9.4, right? It's 4 inches. Oops. From here to there is 4 inches, and then to there further is 16. Assuming everybody knows what we're talking about. Let's save this as lesson 2. Save as. Lesson 2 with AutoCAD underlays. I'm going to pause there so that you can absorb this. I think it was about 20 minutes. I may be wrong. It might be a little bit less than that.